Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to understand about the zero-shot prompting. Now, zero-shot prompting is a technique where you ask the AI LLM models to perform any task and you don't give any examples at all. This prompt relies completely on the trained knowledge of the LLM, pre-trained knowledge. So when you have the large language models, for example, you are using ChatGPT, behind that there is a large language model. In the front end, you see the text box wherein you can go ahead and type your queries. For example, if I go ahead to the ChatGPT here, so this is the chat window. So here, if I go ahead and ask something, you will see these are, some of the models. So basically, if you'll see that there is another model, ChatGPT Go, for which you have to upgrade. This is the free version, so I'm just using the ChatGPT free version, and there is a model behind it. Now, when you ask the question without providing any example, or prompt without providing any example, then that is a zero-shot prompting. Now, what happens basically? For example, if we go ahead and understand what exactly is the zero-shot prompting. Say, for example, I want to translate something. Okay, I say go ahead and translate something to some other language. Say I'll translate hello to Spanish. Okay, so if I ask this, so translate this word hello to Spanish, and let's see what happens. No examples, nothing. So you'll see straight away hello in Spanish is hola. So that's the learning that the model has done, or pre-training that has been done for the translation. So no examples, nothing. For general tasks, zero-shot prompting is good, right? If you're just providing some text, asking it to translate, even if you don't provide any examples, that's all good. Now, how exactly this happens behind the scenes? So these GPT models, for example, ChatGPT, where you have GPT-4, GPT-5, currently is GPT-5. These models are trained on large set of data and can understand the text that we are entering, and based on that context, they can automatically provide you answer based on the learning that they have already done. Now, why should you, as a testing professional or as an IT professional, you should be aware of these prompting technique? Because you will be able to, when you know where to use which type of prompting, you will be able to then minimize your first thing, usage of tokens when you ask better prompting, as well as you will be able to get better answers. For example, if you are looking for general answers in terms of getting the results from the testing space, so I can provide, or I want general test case scenarios for a particular feature, which is very common feature. For example, say login scenario. Okay, so I can go ahead and ask general. I just want to look for general scenarios that are possible for the login scenario. So I can ask write functional test cases for e-commerce. Say, for example, I'm looking for e-commerce registration, not login, let's say registration functionality. Now, this is very common functionality in the e-commerce application. I just want to look for very common scenarios, the functional test cases for the e-commerce registration functionality. So straight away, I'll get the answers which are in general. So I can go ahead and see that these are the general test cases that I should be able to utilize. But if I want very specific, if I have a user story and very specific requirement in my user story, then in that case, I have to go ahead and use other type of prompting. So that's where zero-shot prompting, general answers you're looking for, generic answers you're looking for, that's where you should be using zero-shot prompting. Okay, so straight away you will see all of the core ideas and core test cases are being suggested with the zero-shot prompting. Now, the next thing is how you can create zero-shot prompting, or what are the best practices if we talk about. So make sure that you summarize the prompt and be very specific. Use a specific core and key text. Then if you can specify the role or some context, that will be helpful as well. Even if you're not providing example, at least context and role you can provide. Then don't go ahead and have some ambiguity in your question. For example, here I have been asking specific around e-commerce website registration functionality, right? So this is well more clear and I'm just asking, functional test cases, which implies that it is around the testing space. So this way you will be able to get some generic answer which will be helpful for you, and it will provide better answers. If there won't be any ambiguity, you will get, or the LLM model won't hallucinate, and you will get better answers. Because if there is, in your prompt itself, if it is ambiguous, the LLM models get hallucinated and you might get garbage output as well. So that's where make sure, even if it is zero shot prompting, you are not providing a lot of examples, still role context if you can specify, that will provide you better output. So this is briefly about the zero shot prompting from the testing space or from the development space. Make sure you keep the prompts simple with the context and you will get relevant answers. So that's all for the zero shot prompting. In the next video, we'll cover one shot prompting with example. Thank you. See you in the next one.